Honorable Chairperson, thank you. My few seconds, Chair. Honorable Chairperson, Ministers and Deputy Ministers present today, Deputy Minister Matale, Honorable Chairperson Ruth Bengwe, and members of the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development, Director General and officials of the department, CIFA and CEDA board chairpersons, board members and CEOs, representatives of the organized business formation, cooperatives movement, academia, and other partners who are just some of them getting in, because chairperson, this process that side is very slow, and unfortunately some of them are not here yet in here. Our special guests, entrepreneurs, SMMEs, and members of cooperatives, compatriots, good afternoon. I'm honored to deliver the fourth Budget Vote 31 on small business development to this House today for consideration and approval. The vision for that alternative future, I deliver this budget vote in a year where we are celebrating the centenary of President Nelson Mandela and Masisulu with the understanding that, and I quote, "We are not merely honoring the past, we are building the future." The vision for that alternative future is expressed in the National Development Plan, Vision 2030. One of the specific targets of NDP is to reduce unemployment to 6% by 2030 through the creation of 11 million jobs. The NDP projects that if we implement the full range of its recommendations, our economy will grow at 5% per annum, with 60 to 80% of this value being generated by SMMEs and expanding businesses and cooperatives. And this sector will create 90 or 9.9 million of the 11 million new jobs we will boast of by 2030. The establishment and the mandate of the Department of Small Business Development is to lead and coordinate an integrated approach to the promotion, development of entrepreneurship, small business and cooperatives, and ensure an enabling legislative and policy environment to support their growth and sustainability. This is one of the most concrete manifestations of the NDP aspirations. Chairperson, in line with the directive of President Cyril Ramaphosa that we must create hope based on concrete and practical actions that will boost the growth and transformation of the economy, create jobs and attract investment, I will commence my address with focusing on the budget allocated to my department and how this budget will be spent. I will demonstrate that our budget will seek to build on a success and address the challenges which continue to limit the participation of SMMEs and cooperatives in the mainstream economy. These 2018-19 budget commitments will be followed with a report on some of our achievements. We can confidently state that entrepreneurship and cooperatives who have benefited from the investment by my department and its entities, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, and the Small Enterprise Finance Agency, CIFA, are brand ambassadors of what President Ramaphosa framed as, I quote, greater sense of optimism among our people who are hopeful about the future, and we have to continue giving them that hope. 2018-19 budget being the fourth budget vote 31 allocation, we are proud to report that the Auditor General issued the department with an unqualified audit opinion for both 2015-16 and 2016-2017 financial years, new as we are. The Department of Small Business Development has been allocated 6.78 billion rand over MTEF spread across as follows: 2018-19, 1.48 billion, 2019-20, 2.57 billion, 2020-21, 2.72 billion. The department's budget for the 2018-2019 financial year is 1.4 billion, which has been allocated as follows. Transfers and subsidies consume 84.76 or 1.261 billion rands, whilst operations are provided 15.24 or 226.8 million of the allocated resources. The 1.261 billion rands of transfer and subsidies are provided for the following: CEDA's allocation, 769.4 million rands, which is 60.99% of the transfers and subsidies. The department administers the remaining 492 million through the 4 incentive schemes plus 1 implemented by the Industrial Development Corporation, which I will respond to later. The 4 DSPD incentive schemes are Black Business Supplier Development Program, allocated 270.9 million, cooperatives incentives, allocated 83.3 million, enterprise incubation program, allocated 54.7 million, and the National Informal Business Upliftment Scheme, which is allocated 73.1 million. The customized sector program administered by the IDC is allocated 10 million. The department's 226.8 million rands operational budget provides for compensation of employees at 9.46 or 140.8 million, goods and services 5.39% or 80.2 million, and capital expenditure 0.39 or 5.8 million. Chairperson, I want to draw attention to the fact that 84.8% of our budget is allocated to servicing SMMEs and cooperatives and 15.2% to operational expenditure. The money goes more to who needs it most. CIFA's total budget for the current financial year is 22.8 million. However, this amount does not form part of Budget Vote 31 as yet. It is transferred through the Budget Vote on Economic Development. Currently, CIFA is a subsidiary of IDC. The process of establishing CIFA as an independent entity with a developmental rather than commercial focus is in progress. In addition, National Treasury has issued a draft framework on development finance institutions, DFIs, for inputs to which we have expressed the view that DFIs should have a broader mandate in serving small and medium enterprises as well as cooperatives. In the 2018 State of the Nation address, President Ramaphosa said, and I quote, "Ultimately, the growth of our economy will be sustained by small businesses, as is the case in many countries. It is our shared responsibility to grow this vital sector of the economy," I close quotes. Cabinet in August 2017 adopted the 2018-19 mandate paper, which will inform the budget priorities. It comprises 7 priorities, and the first among these is job creation and small business development. We have put small business development on the map. These pronouncements by my colleagues demonstrate that we are indeed one government working in unity to deliver our electoral mandate. Chairperson, access to finance is one of the key constraints faced by entrepreneurs, be it startup or an existing SMME and cooperative wishing to diversify or explore new opportunity. Time and time again, these startups, young people, people living with disability, and women in particular, tell us of their frustrations with banks and development finance institutions who refuse to support them because they are perceived as high-risk ventures, irrespective of the brilliance of their proposal or demonstrable potential to succeed. Hence, we are pleased to announce 2 streams of finance in which we have the power to define the criteria and conditions which I can assure this Honorable House will be more progressive and enabling. Firstly, the sharp increase in our budget in the outer years of the MTEF is attributed to the 2.1 billion SMME and Innovation Fund, as announced by the President and the Minister of Finance in February. This fund will build on best practices and will largely be directed at innovative startups with a reasonable prospect of success. We are finalizing the implementation modalities with National Treasury and the Department of Science and Technology, and we are working towards announcing the operationalization of the fund during the 3rd quarter with the first disbursements in 2019-2020. Secondly, in addition to our budget, our allocation, my department is leading the rollout of the European Union-funded employment promotion through SMME support program. We need more of the support. A 5-year, 52 million euros or approximately 800 million at the time of signing partnership agreement, which we launched on 6 April 2018. In September 2018, we will announce the modalities of this fund. This fund represents a significant injection of resources which will deploy effectively to craft an alternative future for entrepreneurs and SMMEs in our country. For that, we thank the European Union. DSPD is mandated to unlock and mobilize resources for SMMEs and cooperatives through partnership agreements. We have successfully concluded several agreements, which my Deputy Minister will speak to. I would like to bring to your attention some of our achievements and successes. A core financial support, a core tenet of government's small business policy is the provision of finance to startup enterprises and those that struggle to get funding from commercial finance institutions. Since its establishment 6 years ago, CIFA has financed 286,000 SMMEs and cooperatives to the value of 5.5 billion and facilitated the creation and maintenance of 235 formal and informal jobs. The provisional 2017-18 financial year loan performance indicators show that CIFA disbursed 1.2 billion to 45,035 SMMEs and cooperatives and facilitated 54,144 jobs. Integral to this mandate, CIFA has, during the past 12 months, provided targeted finance to 44,792 black-owned enterprises to the value of 836 million, 9,229 youth-owned enterprises to the value of 191 million, 44,000 women-owned enterprises to the value of 403 million. The Black Business Supplier Development Program is another financial instrument which is a cost-sharing grant mainly extended to expanding SMMEs. Since 2014-15, 2,558 SMMEs were supported to the value of 1.32 billion. I must indicate, members, that while we are rattling all these big numbers, it's still important for us to look back at the value of the money that government is putting into these enterprises. One of the BBSDB beneficiaries is KKF Steel CC, which was established in 2006, mainly serves private companies. Their key service offering includes manufacturing of steel door frames, combination doors, single and double side light, and steel tables earmarked for low-cost housing projects. The corporation has also embarked on manufacturing of steel window frames. It is wholly owned and directed by Mr. Mohammed, a seasoned business person from a previously disadvantaged background. Through BBSDP, we assisted the company to buy a 200-ton hydraulic bending press brake machine, which enabled employment growth from 18 to 35. There are many others which we can indicate, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members. For non-financial support, in the 4 years since the establishment of the department, more than 57.8% of our annual budget allocation is transferred to CIFA, as I indicated earlier. Hence, it is appropriate to report to this House on the value which has been derived from this investment. Over the past 4 years, key successes from services rendered through SEDA, which has the largest network for small enterprise development and support in South Africa, include 215,000 people reached through promotional and marketing actions, 37,510 clients supported by SEDA branch network, 10,109 clients supported by SEDA incubation network. SEDA also has multi-year partnership on supplier development and access markets with a number of organizations in both the private and the public sector. Incubation support in both developed and developing countries. Business incubators and accelerators have been identified as a strategic tool for helping to grow a country's entrepreneurial base while reducing the high mortality of SMMEs and cooperatives. SEDA continues to lead in development support that enables incubation and technology transfers to small enterprises in the country. Currently, there are 129 private and public funded incubators in the country. Of these network, DSBD and CEDA supports 80 incubators, which have benefited 3,690 clients and created 2,592 new jobs in the past financial year. Deputy Matale will speak to some of the models and success stories in our incubation program. In reflection on cooperatives, since I became minister in 2014, we have worked closely with stakeholders in the cooperatives movement to ensure that the significance of cooperative enterprises do not fade into the background or forgotten as we embark on this journey towards radical socio-economic transformation. The President spelled out that in his priority is of jobs, jobs, and more jobs. We believe that our focus on the growth and sustainability of cooperatives as a key lever to job creation across a diversity of sectors. Subsequently, the department has revised the guidelines of one of its instruments, the Cooperatives Incentive Scheme, to enable government to support cooperatives that are in cluster form, as they have bigger chances of success in this form. As a department, we have taken an inclusive approach towards the cooperatives movement, and the chairperson, I'm sure, will be happy, and this is one of the things that she talks to us at all times. Leaders of the cooperatives movement who are in the gallery are working hard to turn around the fortunes of this promising sector and have changed the narrative between themselves towards unifying the cooperatives movement. I am encouraged by the collaboration that have been forged with the leadership, guided by shared vision, which is to reverse the high mortality rate that has afflicted our primary cooperatives. I have traversed the country and engaged with cooperatives in all provinces. I know that I haven't reached all, but the intention is to cover as many as possible. I have witnessed an increase in the diversity and in the quality of products produced by cooperatives. For example, there are Black-owned industrial cooperatives with a market presence in some traditional sectors such as renewable energy, manufacturing, rail and engineering, and some of these successful cooperatives are here with us today. And I would like to say both to the cooperatives as well as the small businesses, entrepreneurs, you need to follow the economy. You need to check where is the economy growing so that you can then focus on those businesses. I want to recognize Ms. Vuyokazi Nzonda and the work being done by Chisele Light Primary Cooperatives, which has ventured into solar energy as it represents innovation and cooperatives representativity in the renewable energy sector. I also wish to encourage Karabo Karabo Hlamulo projects cooperatives to continue to carry the banner of cooperatives in the rail engineering landscape, as well as Vuyo Mapela from Barui Driehoek, who is a member of the multi-award-winning cooperative in agriculture from the Northwest Province. CEDA has become a partner many departments and the private sector. CEDA has become a partner in many departments and the private sector in cooperatives development support. As a result, CEDA has extended support to 912 cooperatives during the 2017-2018. An example in CEDA's role in clustering programs of 9 livestock smallholder farmers, resulting in 3 million rand funding secured from the Department of Rural Development and Land Affairs. In this initiative, CEDA has trained the smallholders, which consist of 7 members each, for the establishment of a central Karoo Merino cooperatives. The cooperative is now registered and a bank account has been opened. Our priorities for 2018-2019 financial year have largely been shaped by the program of action in response to the State of the Nation's address by our President, as well as our mandate. The areas which we are going to focus on from a legislative and policy priorities will be in November 2018 to conclude the National Small Business Development Bill, which among others provide for a new schedule supporting definition of SMMEs. It will further provide for the establishment of new entities and for the regulation of the business advising profession. We have prepared a presidential minute to facilitate the enactment of 2013 Cooperative Development Act. This act provides for a range of institutional arrangements which will support the growth and sustainability of cooperatives. We will work with the National Treasury to unlock the budgets to support the implementation of this act. President Ramaphosa reiterated in the State of the Nation address that government will honor its undertaking to set aside the 30% procurement, and this for us is very serious, and we want to see all departments doing that. The payment of suppliers within 30 days remains a challenge. As in September 2017, a total of 71,833 invoices were paid. We are amongst the departments that have made sure that we pay. As in my closing remark, Chairperson, I will also deal with the key programs which we support in my closing remarks. I would also like, Chairperson, to quickly say to you, we have in the podium a number of our SMMEs, including one very special one, Ume Violet, who's somewhere there, who has a farm in Alexander. I will talk about it in my closing remarks.
Honorable Minister, time has expired. I'm trying to give you
I
some
still
time.
have 23 seconds, Chairperson.
It's minus.
Oh, it's minus, okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Bengu, take the podium.
Chairperson, honorable members, distinguished guests, fellow South Africans. As we celebrate 100 years of former President Nelson Mandela and Mama Albertina Sisulu, we are reminded of the role they played in our struggle. We are called to emulate their perseverance and foresight to radically transform the economy and build a developmental state based on a mixed economy. In 1969, in a conference held in Morogoro, the ANC resolved that South Africa will be a mixed economy country under the ANC government. Ngalokho i-ANC yayithi umhlaba wonke uyobuyela ezandleni zabantu ukuze bawusebenzise ukushintsha umnotho nokuthuthukisa izimpilo zabo. Sithi akukho umuntu oyophatha umhlaba ngayedwa. In Morogoro conference, the ANC identified 3 pillars at societal level to drive the mixed economy, and these are: 1, the private sector supported by privately owned commercial banks; the state through state-owned enterprises supported by the state-owned banks; the community through community-owned and workers-owned enterprises using the concept of cooperatives supported by cooperative banks. Ngamanye amazwi umnotho wase South Africa ufana nebhodwe lesizulu elinemlenze emithathu. Umlenze wokuqala okhuluphele futhi omude kakhulu owezinkampani ezizimele zongxowankulu. Umlenze wesibili owezinkampani ezikahulumeni, ezinye zazo ziyantengantenga. Umlenze wesithathu owezinkampani zomphakathi nezabasebenzi ezingekho njengoba sikhuluma nje, eziyokwakhiwa ukugqugquzelwa kwabantu ukuba bahlangane benze ama-cooperatives okuyiwona ayisisekelo sokubuyisela umnotho ezandleni zomphakathi nabasebenzi. In implementing the 1969 Morogoro Resolution, the ANC in its 53rd National Conference adopted the National Development Plan with a target of 9.9 million new jobs created through SMMEs and cooperatives. These 2 resolutions necessitated the establishment of the Department of Small Business Development to focus on development of SMMEs and cooperatives. ANC ithi lo mnyango uwumgogodla wokushintshwa komnotho nokwenza imiphakathi nabasebenzi babe ngabanikazi bezimboni zokukhiqiza. Labo ke abacabanga ukuthi ungase uvalwe lo mnyango noma ufakwe ngaphansi komunye, hayi cha baphuphe mina. The Department of Small Business Development is if well resourced and capacitated, has a potential of shifting government expenditure from consumption to production and reduce dependency of poor families on social grants and free basic services. Municipalities with no revenue base would have a revenue base when the Department of Small Business Development works with the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, targeting indigent and social grants beneficiaries to make them self-sufficient and self-reliant, thereby able to pay for services and rates. DSDB is mandated to coordinate support services located in other departments to facilitate effective development of SMMEs and cooperatives. This mandate is supported by the Intergovernmental Relations Framework Act and the Integrated Development Planning, which happens at local government level, informed by the National Spatial Development Perspective and the Local Economic Development Strategy of each municipality. The coordination mandate given to the Department of Small Business Development challenges government departments to move away from silo mentality and embrace the integrated planning approach, focusing on specific sectors with the potential to create 9.9 million new jobs by 2030 and change ownership patterns of the economy. In other words, the strategic planning process of the Department of Small Business should be aligned to local economic development strategies of municipalities and zoom into particular of wards or village to do feasibility studies and master plans for economic development and at ward and village level. That approach would attract investors to underdeveloped areas and would also influence other government departments to align their budgets and programs to specific areas with high levels of poverty and unemployment. The Department of Small Business Development has a broader mandate than providing grants and support services to SMMEs and cooperatives. This department is about radical economic transformation, reducing dependence of poor families on government handouts, and about enabling marginalized to participate in mainstream economy. Therefore, DSBD needs to be adequately resourced with financial and human capital that is equal to the challenge. Programs should be designed to equip officials in the Department of Small Business Development with requisite skills for development of SMMEs and cooperatives. We have pointed out to challenges in our report. We are not going to repeat them here. We have engaged the minister, the deputy minister, DG, board members and CEOs of SIFA and SIDA on issues that need to be addressed. They have listened to what we had to say and promised to correct what needs to be corrected, avoiding shortcuts in finding possible solutions. We will always support the department, SIDA and SIFA. We, however, will not allow a pro-poor agenda to be compromised by taking shortcuts without proper consultations. We supported the budget vote of the Department of Small Business Development. We, however, are not signing a blank check. We are aware of challenges in the department, SIFA and SIDA, related to internal capacity, inability to effectively play a coordination role, and failure to implement the recommendations of the Portfolio Committee. Our view is that the department should not transfer its functions and responsibilities to SIFA and SIDA, instead should build internal capacity and reduce use of consultants. Transferring functions and responsibilities to SIDA and SIFA will compromise the pro-poor agenda. We are concerned by the slow pace in finalizing the structure of the department and by the contradictory information given to the Portfolio Committee, by the DG of the department and the Department of Public Service and Administration regarding the structure of the department. We will follow up on this issue with Minister Lindwe Zulu before the adoption of the budget by Parliament. The Portfolio Committee, assisted by the Office of the Auditor General, will soon conduct a forensic audit on disbursement of funds by SIFA and the department. We suspect corruption, use of scrupulous service providers, and violation of PFMA. We suspect that the whole system was designed to undermine the agenda of developing communities who were systematically marginalized by the apartheid government. The ANC government committed to develop these communities. Therefore, any government employee or a person in the delivery system of services designed to develop SMMEs who turns these services into his or her cash cow for self-enrichment deserves the harshest punishment available. The eyes of the and the ears of the portfolio committee are wide open. Zizojika izinto, awekho amahlathi okuqasha. The ANC supports the budget. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bengu. Honorable Chance, can you take the platform?
Thank you, Chairperson. Minister, Deputy Minister, honourable members, visitors in the gallery, good afternoon. The Portfolio Committee's report on the Department of Small Business Development's budget and annual performance plan is a cutting indictment of 4 wasted years. Just last week, the committee received an anonymous letter from a whistleblower within the department, extracts of which read as follows. Even now as I speak, there is no structure with an approved signature of the Minister of DPSA. The department has incurred a huge over-expenditure on goods and services. There is a desperate lack of capacity in CIS, Cooperative Unit and BBSBD, with only 5 officials expected to serve 9 provinces, as well as the DG having announced that CIS, EIP, BBSDP and IMEDP will be migrated to agencies without proper, open and honest discussion with staff on this matter. Close quote. For our purposes, the meaning of the acronyms is immaterial. Suffice to say that they refer to core department programs which it now wants to hive off to its agencies without proper discussion or consideration, as well as chaotic and dictatorial management by the DG. Minister Zulu, as the executive authority, must take responsibility for this disaster in the making. She sat silently in our committee meeting last week, while her DG apparently misled us by claiming the DPSA had approved the organizational structure in the department's APP. According to the DPSA, only the startup structure has been approved. Will there be consequences for misleading Parliament in this way? The DA demands accountability from the executive. 2 years after the advertising for applicants to sit on the National Small Business Advisory Council, the Council still has not been constituted. This is in breach of the Small Business Act. Minister Zulu admitted to the committee last week that she had been tardy on this. Minister, this is not good enough, and we urge you to appoint the Council Board without delay. The same tardiness is on display in establishing the Cooperatives Development Agency, the Cooperatives Tribunal, the Cooperatives Advisory Council, and the Cooperatives Development Fund, all of which are mandated in the Cooperatives Amendment Act of 2013. As a result of their non-existence, cooperatives still languish unassisted, unfinanced, and on the margins of the economy when they should be a central pillar of community development, particularly in rural areas. Critical vacancies in the department at Director General level, at Deputy Director General level, are hampering service delivery and program rollout, and the department remains in limbo without a proper approved structure. The 2018-19 budget includes only 22 million for Programme 2, Sector Policy and Research, which includes the function of monitoring and evaluation. The department has admitted it has no skills in this critical function, so is unable to provide data on which programs are delivering results and which are not. The policy branch is supposed to be working on the amended Small Business Act, as we had heard from the Minister, and here again we find the department late in matching promises with results. We've been told every year since 2016 that an act is in the works. Now the department has promised to table it in November. We will wait and see. Chairperson, the DA will not stand by waiting as the department fails time after time to deliver on its mandate while small businesses continue to suffer. Like Puss in Boots, Minister Zulu is using trickery and spin to pretend all is well with the department when in fact it is a shambles. Her boots are stuck in concrete and no amount of reassuring words will convince us she is on top of her game. 2 areas in particular where small businesses suffer are not having recourse in disputes with customers and cash flow crunches when these customers fail to pay on time. To address these problems, I wish to draw attention to a suite of proposals and solutions which in combination will provide small business owners with relief from the constant bullying they suffer at the hands of uncaring government and big business. Yes, big business is a culprit as well, but disputes occur under the radar, so go unreported, and small businesses suffer in silence or quietly disappear. I intend introducing the Small Enterprises Ombud Service Private Members Bill, establishing an ombudsman to resolve disputes quickly, cheaply, and efficiently. The Portfolio Committee has attempted to perform this function of an ombud over the past few years, as we are inundated by complaints from business owners who have nowhere else to turn to. Notice of this bill was gazetted on the 10th of May, giving 30 days for comments and suggestions before the bill is drafted. Last Friday, DA leader Muzi Maimane and I visited the premises of Denel Vehicle Systems in Benoni to protest the late payment of invoices worth 1.6 million rand to a small business. The non-payment led to the closure of this business with a loss of 38 jobs. This is one of countless examples where late or non-payment of invoices has a crippling effect on companies' cash flow. We endorse the prompt payment code set up by the National Small Business Chamber. Signatories of the Code of Good Practice commit to paying customers within 30 days. We also outline how supply chain finance allows a small SME supplier to secure its money earlier by piggybacking on the creditworthiness of a buyer. Tomorrow, I am visiting a major retailer to discuss how supply chain finance can unlock billions of rands of working capital across supply chains in all sectors of the economy, and so help small businesses grow and create more jobs. Chairperson, these three interventions are positive steps towards addressing challenges small businesses have across the country. In the spirit of cooperation President Ramaphosa called for in his SONA, as well as in the responses to oral questions last week, I plead for the cross-party support the small business community deserves, rather than a partisan, narrow-minded response, which politicians are notorious for. Chairperson, we need to put country before party. Politicians of all persuasions. The DA has presented some constructive measures to grow our economy and create jobs. I look forward to accompanying President Ramaphosa, DA leader Muzi Maimane, and Minister Zulu on visits to some small business incubators where we can find out firsthand how these measures can be implemented without delay and bring total change to the small business sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Honourable Mulawusi, take the podium.
Ndiyalivhuwa mudzulatshidulo na mutshimbidza mushumo riṋe vha economic freedom fighters a ri khou tikedza hoyu mugaganyagwama wa department ya small business and development sezwa ri zwi ita u bva miṅwaha miṋa yo fhiraho ri tshi khou hanedza. A ri nga ḓo vhuya ra bva ro tika hoyu mugaganyagwama ngauri na eno muhasho wo vha u songo tea uri hu vhe hone, uri ngoho ya vhukuma ndi uri hoyu muhasho wo vha hone hu itela fhedzi u tika na u thola na uri hu vhe na zwikhala zwa mishumo kha vhone vho minista vho Lindiwe Zulu na vhathu vha ANC uri vha wane vhuluvha kha dzangano. The 1.48 billion budget of this department is a complete waste of money and will do nothing to promote small businesses development in the country. And this department has no capacity and no real purpose. The idea that the Department of Small Business and Development could do anything to create small businesses shows how little the ANC about economics, even the capitalist economics, which they love so much. The reality is that the current macroeconomic structure of our economy simply does not allow small businesses to grow, especially black-owned small businesses. This is because the ANC has failed to use the state power. It has to change who owns the economy and the structure of the economy itself. Today, like 50 years ago, the economy is dominated by whites, and added to this are the multinational, which along with South Africa's largest white-owned companies dominated the economy. These monopolies collude and along with government have prevented small businesses from having any chance to compete and grow. The malls that keep getting open across the country are a perfect example, as they continue to kill small business-owned businesses across the country, particularly in townships and villages. if the government want to create the space for small business to grow, it needs to change the ownership pattern of the fundamental structure of economic. We have many young people who are unemployed but have innovative ideas that can easily be turned into business, but they are prevented from turning these ideas into practical businesses, not because they do not have skills, but because they do not have the opportunity and the system does not allow to succeed. Loans are hard to access, and in country where what capital control investment, there is a very little chance of getting the investors needed. This is one of the reasons why the EFF is tabling a private member bill to establish a state bank so that young people with ideas are not relegated to informal economy or unemployment, but have chance to turn these ideas into real small businesses through loans from the state bank. It is also one of the reasons why we want the land to be expropriated without compensation. By taking the land from the few who own it and redistribute it to our people, particularly black people and women, we will create firm foundation on which small businesses can develop and thrive and new innovative be put into practice. Until government takes these steps, the growth and creation of small business will never realize in these countries. Honorable Chairperson and Minister, we would like also SEFF to raise the concern about the unlicensed and unregulated informal spaza shop in KZN, where foreigners are fighting with the business owners in our country because they were allowed to open the unregulated and unlicensed spaza shops in townships. Also, the mushrooming of the townships and the villages malls, which is killing the black-owned businesses. For example, again, we can say, Chairperson, at Chakuma, where we visited last time, still now there is no toilets and waters there, which can use to help the poor people there. And no transversal agreement were signed. But lastly, Chairperson, I would like to thank the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee to be fair and honest that we noted so many mistakes in the department and the East Entity in terms of corruption and disbursement of the resources. The EFF rejects this budget, Chairperson.
Thank you very
Proudly so.
much, Honorable
Thank you.
Mulawuzu. The Honorable Deputy Minister, please take a platform.
Thank you, Chairperson. Creating new institutions have never been a solution to challenges people face. The issue of 30-day payment must be achieved, and that is non-negotiable for small businesses. Our budget vote takes place at the time when the people of Southern Africa and Cuba celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Battle of Quito Carnival. This battle was the largest land battle to take place in Africa since World War II. When passing his revolutionary message of gratitude to the people of Cuba at the occasion marking the 38th anniversary of the Cuban Revolution, President Mandela said, I quote, "We are aware that those Cubans who fought and died in Angola were only a small portion of those who volunteered. For the Cuban people, internationalism is not merely a word, but something that we have seen practiced to the benefit of large sections of humankind. The decisive defeat of the apartheid aggressors broke the myth of the invincibility of the white oppressors," close quote. President Mandela, whom our country is celebrating his centenary this year, established and maintained relations with other oppressed people of the world, including the people of Palestine. Unfortunately, for narrow political reasons, some who often remind us about the words of President Mandela always omit referring to his unwavering support to the total liberation of the people of Palestine. Therefore, we should not be surprised that they have not condemned the recent atrocity actions of the government of Israel against the unarmed Palestinians. Fortunately, Those who are truly committed to the cause of furthering the legacy of President Mandela vehemently denounced and rejected the killings of the Palestinians who demanded nothing but freedom and the right to the land of their forefathers.
Point of order.
The year 1918 was also saw the birth of another
order,
giant of our struggle.
Honorable Deputy Minister, take a seat.
Chairperson, thanks. I rise in terms of Rule 92, and I want to refer you to Rule number 68. What is the relevance of the speech that the Minister is tendering?
No, that's fine. We hear your point. You want him to explain it to you?
Chairperson, I want you to rule on the point that I've raised, which is Rule number 68. The speech that the Deputy Minister is delivering is irrelevant.
Honorable member, really it would be very difficult to be a judge on political issues. I can't really judge political issues. And that's a political statement that is putting forward. You yourself, honorable person. I couldn't answer, man. Honorable Deputy Minister President.
Thank you. Mama Albert Sisulu, who contributed immensely to the liberation of the people of South Africa. Mama Sisulu and President Mandela were not only born on the same year, but most importantly, they both attended the historic launching conference of the African National Congress Youth League in 1944. Therefore, as we climb on the shoulders of these heroes, we do so mindful of the socio-economic challenges facing our people. Our various interventions that are aimed at empowering entrepreneurs give us confidence to invent more initiatives to empower the marginalized and the most vulnerable. As the Department of Small Business Development, we rededicate ourselves and reaffirm our commitment to the radical economic transformation through effective development and increased participation of SMEs and cooperatives in the mainstream economy. Chairperson, as government, we have fully confidence that our people will emerge from the triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment through coordinated support by the three spheres of government. As part of having a joint frontier, we are prioritizing the strengthening of already existing partnerships between various departments, provinces, and municipalities. It is without doubt that local economic development is vital in our endeavor to support and promote community-based economic initiatives as well as reaching out to the masses of our people. We have long acknowledged that government cannot act solo in transforming the economy. We need the private sector to partner with us, not as a matter of compliance, but in a genuine and meaningful manner to ensure the empowerment and growth of SMEs and cooperatives. It is with this in mind that we are developing and strengthening relations with the private sector to leverage on their needs and other resources. The needs of the private sector must enable the country to create jobs and stimulate the economy. The partnership with the private sector are beginning to bear fruit. For example, we have partnered with the South African breweries to fast-track the inclusion of Black emerging farm enterprises into their value chain and have piloted the Woman in Maize initiative in 2016. In its first year, an average yield of 6 tons per hectare, contributing 18,000 tons towards SAB's maize sourcing requirements was realized. During this period, 13 farming cooperatives were selected to participate and earned 3.6 million in profit. Almost 70% of the farmers were females, given the bias of the program towards the empowerment of women-owned cooperatives. We have also partnered with Nestle on a special program called Micro Distribution Program, which is earmarked for townships and rural enterprises. A target of 50 startup enterprises owned predominantly by women, youth, and people with disabilities have been identified for the initial implementation and will be provided with training, mentoring, coaching, as well as 100% grant for the operations. As part of our public engagement activities, we have also recently roped in Google to provide digital training to illustrate the importance of online connectivity. The fourth industrial revolution is upon us and requires us to invest in our youth to ensure that they are geared to take advantage of the opportunities presented, which requires them to be highly skilled, technically capacitated, and innovative in their approach. The department will continue to support Black-owned enterprises through the Black Business Supplier Development Program, which is a cost-sharing grant to SMEs to acquire tools and machinery to a maximum of 1 million per applicant. We will also support the clustering of cooperatives through the Cooperative Incentive Scheme to a maximum of 1 million per applicant for a primary cooperative and a maximum of 10 million for a secondary cooperative. This should go a long way in injecting the much-needed capital for the SMEs and cooperative development. Our decisive support in this regard is combined with various mentoring initiatives which are meant to turn beneficiaries into real entrepreneurs. Our minister mentioned the global rise in the establishment of the business incubators to nurture new particular groups of emerging enterprises and to curb the failure rate of startup businesses. To this effect, we are on a drive to increase our incubator footprint nationwide. To date, we have launched 80 out of the 129 incubators in the country, with some doing exceptionally well, such as the Platinum Incubator in Rustenburg. This incubator has produced, among others, Mr. Bekingema, who is a young owner of Ben & Company and is popular for his high-end jewelry designs, and is operating his shop in the Mainland Shopping Center in Pretoria. Other example is the Property Point Incubator, co-funded by both the department and Property Point, which is the only incubator in the property sector. It was initiated with 16 SMEs, of which 47% is Black women-owned and 38% is youth-owned. Property Point extended contract to these incubators to the amount of 21.9 million between October 2017 and March 2018. Chairperson, in our portfolio meeting, Honorable Matebula invited our attention to an important issue about a young goat farmer in one of the most rural villages of Limpopo province who was struggling with access to market. A day later, we visited a small village outside Guyana and met Mr. Zita. His ambition is to export the Kalahari goats to international market, but of course, he also appreciates the fact that in order to provide answers to all people who are in Mr. Zita's situation. Chairperson, we are not oblivious to the situation, and while this is an admission, it is also an undertaking to act promptly in repositioning our programs and processes to become responsive to the real pressing needs on the ground. Chairperson, on the 24th of May 1994, addressing the inaugural first democratically elected parliament of our country, President Mandela said, I quote, "We would also like to encourage the greater participation of established financial institutions in the important area of Black economic empowerment and support for the development of small and medium businesses," close quote. 24 years on, this remains a challenge. Financial institutions, including our own DFIs, have not adequately responded to this call. Earlier this year, President Ramaphosa said that we must be ready to serve our people. Tumamina should not be regarded as a slogan, but a clarion call to act. We ought to be there when our people call on us. Tumamina is also about ensuring that our people live to reach their full potential in what they do. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Mwabe.
Thank you, Chairperson, Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister, Honorable Members, distinguished guests. The NFP understands that the main purpose of this budget vote is for the development of small businesses and cooperative enterprises that contribute to inclusive growth and job creation. The small businesses have been for years the lifeblood of the poor and marginalized in South Africa. Here is one sector which has the potential to reduce unemployment and poverty rates and results in more equitable distribution of income. Moreover, informal sector is crucial because it provides distinct benefits such as the reduction of economic concentration in the hands of the monopoly capital, encouraging higher levels of competition and creating increased opportunities for the broad-based black economic empowerment. Honorable Chair, it has been always our belief as an NFP that cooperatives are essential to rural development and could form a cornerstone of women economic empowerment if given sufficient funding and support. Siyacela Minister ukuthi umnyango wakho nomnyango wezolimo ka-agriculture ube ready ukuthuthukisa abantu bakithi njengoba siyiphalamende sithathe isinqumo sokuthi sizobuyisa umhlaba. Izolo ngikushilo lokho agriculture ukuthi njengoba sivumele ukuthi umhlaba uzobuyela kubantu, umnyango ofana nalona noka agriculture mawubambisane ube ready ngeinhlelo ecacile zokuthuthukisa ama cooperatives azofuna ukusebenza umhlabathi akwazi ukuthi asizakale. Abantu bakithi ke ngithi bangatatazeli noma iAfriforum ingagcwala amazwe wonke aphesheya ize ibone no Trump ithi na ama political parties eSouth Africa evumelana ukuthi akuthatha umhlaba, cha sizothatha sonika ama cooperatives abantu bakithi basebenza umhlabathi. We are also concerned, we are however concerned that the department and its entities, SIFA and SIDA, seem to have no clear strategy on how to leverage 30% public sector procurement set aside. If this is not corrected, Honorable Chairperson, it will deny our small businesses a chance to fully participate and benefit from the economy of their country. We therefore support the recommendation of the Portfolio Committee that a market access unit within the department must urgently develop a detailed and realistic market access strategy, which will include plans to leverage 30% procurement set aside. Honorable Chair, the NFP also shares the same view with the Portfolio Committee that without a strong private sector partnership, the department is unlikely to go further and achieve all of its goals. Therefore, the department, in particular its market access unit, must facilitate with the private sector the creation of the wholesale and retail charter during this financial year. Finally, Chairperson, the high failure rate of cooperatives in this country tells us that the cooperatives incentive scheme does not know what it's doing. The CIS is only about dumping funds to cooperatives without any monitoring and evaluation strategy. We therefore support the call by the Portfolio Committee that the department must finalize the review of the cooperative incentive scheme before the end of this financial year. However, having expressed our concerns, Chairperson, we will support this budget. Thank you.
Honorable Mthembu.
Sihlalo, amalunga eParlamente, uMinister kanye nesekela lakhe. No minister bakhona namasekela abasivakashele emphakathi waseNingizimu Afrika. Osomabhizinisi abancane abasafufusa kanye nama cooperatives ngiyanibingelela onyakeni wekhulu kaBaba uMandela isithwalande kanye nomama uAlbertina Sisulu ababamba iqhaza elikhulu enkululekweni yesizwe. Sihlalo kungaba iphutha uma ngingeke ngikhulume ngabantu bakithi ababecindezelwe bengenawo amathuba futhi bebonwa njengezicashalala ezingafanelwe amathuba kwezentuthuko yezeminotho. Uhulumeni wentando yeningi owazuzwa ngo-1990 oholwa nguKhongolose uye wahlaba ikhwelo lokuthi abantu mababe yingxenye yokuthuthukiswa kwezemnotho ngendlela esheshayo i-radical economic transformation ekanti futhi uma lenhlangano yayibambe ingqungquthela yayo yamashumi amahlanu nantathu eMangaung yavumelana ngokushiwo i-strategy and tactics ukuthi ama-SMMEs kanye nama-cooperatives abalulekile ekuthuthukisweni kwezwe nakwezomnotho oyinhlanganisela kanye nokuzuza kumagugu ezimbiwa. Naleso sinqumo sasigqugquzelwa ukuzibophezela kwalenhlangano kusomqulu wenkululeko i-Freedom Charter lapho ithi bonke bazohlomula ngokulingana kumcebo wezwe. Ngonyaka ka-2014 uhulumeni wasungula umnyango we-Small Business Development. Injongo yalo mnyango ukukhulisa nokwenza ukuthi ama-cooperatives ahlomule kulomnotho wezwe oyinhlanganisela. Isizathu esenza ukuba kube khona lo mnyango ukuthi intuthuko yezemnotho yayihamba ngonyawo lonwabu kanye nezingqinamba ezazenza kube lukhuni ukuba abantu bakithi babhekelwe kahle ekutheni amabhizinisi abo akhule. Zikhona izinselelo kodwa umnyango uyalwisana nazo ukuze abantu bakhuthazeke ekubambisaneni nohulumeni kule 4th Industrial Revolution njengoba bosomabhizinisi abancane futhi nabasemaphakathini kanye nama-cooperatives badlala indima enkulu ekuqedeni indlala, ukusweleka kwemisebenzi kanye nokungalingani. Ulekelele ngezinsiza ezizokwenza kube lula ukuba labo somabhizinisi bafinyelele kuleli zinga futhi bavelele. Njengekomiti elibhekele ukusebenza komnyango siyabonga ukuthi umnyango we-Small Business Development uhlangene neminye iminyango kahulumeni kanye nezinye izinhlaka zentuthuko namabhizinisi amakhulu njengo-SAB baye bahlangabezana ukuze bahlangabezane nezidingo zabo somabhizinisi ngokuthi baqeqeshwe ngamakhono abangenawo kanye nokubavulela amathuba okuhweba. Okunye okubalekile yizivumelwane ama-transversal agreement umnyango kanye neminye iminyango kwehle njalo kufinyelele kohulumeni basemakhaya abazibophezele kuzo ukuqiniseka ukuthi abantu bakithi abansundu bayaphumelela ekuhwebeni okusezingeni eliphezulu. Kusukela ngo-2016 South African Brewery Miller yatshala imali engango-40 million wamarandi ohlelweni lokulekelela kwingqala sizinda yama-cooperatives. Umnyango we-Small Business Development kanye nezinhlaka zawo bazibophezele ekulekeleleni ngezinsiza eziwusizo lwezimali kanye nosizo olungadingi imali. Ngalezi zivumelwano nenhlanganisela yokusebenzisana kuzozuzeka injongo ngokohlelo oluqhakanjisiwe yi-National Development Plan lapho ithi ama-cooperatives ikakhulukazi lawo akozwelwimo mawafake nawo esivivaneni sokudalwa kwamathuba emisebenzi. Umama uSisulu ubezothokoza kakhulu futhi aziqhenye kakhulu uma kunezivumelwano eziholwa yilo mnyango ezikhulisa zigqugquzela ama-cooperatives akumboni ekhiqiza kombila ngoba wayengumama owayelwela abampofu nabacindezelwe kanye nenkululeko yabantu besifazane. Ukukhula kwalemboni ngokusebenzisana no-South African Breweries and Agriculture Research Council kuyisibonelo esihle ngokuthi uma sibambisene senza okuningi okungumthelela omuhle entuthukweni kanye nasenkululekweni yakwezomnotho. Olunye uhlelo oluze nomnyango ekuthuthukisweni kwamakhono wohlelo lwe-NIBUS, National Informal Business Upliftment Strategy, ekuvaleni izikhala eziyingqinamba ekusungulweni kwamabhizinisi nasekuthuthukiseni kwawo. Inhloso ye-NIBUS ukuphakamisa amabhizinisi asafufusa kanye nokusizana nama-local business chambers kanye nama-associations. Amahhovisi akomasipala awe-local economic development nawo ayingxenye yalolu hlelo ukuze akwazi ukuletha izinsiza nokuthi futhi labo somabhizinisi bafinyelele ezakhiweni ezinceda ekuphakameni kwabo. Okubhekwe ukuthi bahlomule kakhulu kulolu hlelo ngomama, ulusha kanye nalabo abaphila ngokukhubazeka nabasemalokishini kanye nasezindaweni zasemakhaya eNingizimu Afrika. Lolu hlelo luyiqhinga eliqhubekisa izinhlelo zikahulumeni ekuhambiseni ngokushesha uhlengiso oluletha inguquko ngokwezomnotho othuthukayo obhekene nempilo engcono kanye nenhlalakahle yabantu. Ukuze i-NIBUS iqhubeke yenze lo msebenzi obalulekile yaxhumana nemikhakha eminingi ekhona kuhulumeni ukuzwa uvo lwabo. Le mikhakha okwaxoxiswana nayo kwakungumnyango kaCOGTA, umgcinimafa kuzwelonke, eminye iminyango kuhulumeni, izifundazwe, omasipala, ama-agencies nama-business chambers, ISEC, MINMEC, NEDLEC, indlu yababusi bendabuko kanye noSALGA kuzwelonke. Abanye bangabaxhasi ngezimali, ama-intermediaries, service providers, i-private sector, informal business organizations, kanye nemiphakathi. Sihlalo mangibalule lenhlangano yomama eligwa local municipality eholwa ngumama uNana Mahamutsa iphakamani bomama. Okuyinhlanganisela yomama kanye nolusha olukuma cooperatives kanye nosomabhizinisi abasafufusa engicabanga ukuthi kubalekile kakhulu ukuba le budget kuvunyelwane nayo ngoba bazohlomula futhi bazogqugquzeleka ekutheni bancediswe ekunikweni amakhono la azokwenza ukuthi bame baqine. Okunye yikuthi ama cooperatives ethu mawafundiseke ekugcineni nasekusebenziseni izimali kungathi ukuthi nje into abayenzayo yokuthi nje basuse ikati eziko kodwa ukuthuthukisa imiphakathi kanye nezwe lonkana. Mabagweme futhi nezingxabano ngoba zibuyiselana emuva futhi zilimaza nohulumeni ngoba uma lama cooperatives ebhidlika engami uhulumeni akakwazi ukuba abonakale ebambisene nabantu baseningizimu Afrika nama cooperatives ngoba uma bebhidlika akakwazi uhulumeni ukubona naye ukuthi ikhona inqubekela phambili nabo uqobo ngeke babone ukuthi ikhona inqubekela phambili uma bexabana uyabonakala nohulumeni naye uzobonakala ngomuntu oqhandela emuva ongayi phambili. I-ANC iyasupporta ibudget. Ngiyabonga.
Honourable Filtani.
The role of small business in South Africa has to be revisited in the context of understanding the importance of an inclusive economy. There cannot be a thriving economy if the majority of South Africans remain bystanders. Equally, the inclusion of the black majority is not a natural progression due to historical realities. Among other realities are the following. 1, absence of business culture as a precursor to business development. 2, lack of business acumen due to lack of experience. 3, uncoordinated business support. This point has to be emphasized because it has become a hurdle to our strategy to develop the small business sector. In the past, government has created lots of agencies that don't speak to each other and invariably create lots of duplication and wastage of resources. We must hasten to welcome the initiative of government of setting aside 30% of government expenditure for small businesses. However, we must ask ourselves some basic and fundamental questions. How are we going to monitor government procurement when we can't monitor government performance as a whole? This point might look unrelated to small business development. However, it is an integral part of ensuring that transformation is directed to the right beneficiaries. We have observed that big businesses have disengaged from tendering for some services that are perceived to be given to black businesses, although they become ultimate beneficiaries in the value chain as suppliers of goods. Let us take the example of Operation Pakisa, which government is promoting as the new economy. It is a fact that barriers for new entrants are prohibitively high due to the nature of the current economic outlook. Monitoring and evaluation is no longer just a pure administrative exercise. Those who are assigned with this kind of responsibility must be acquainted with this reality. We expected the minister to boast about a few businesses that were small in 2014, but have since grown to be big businesses by now. She was silent. Just mentioned few, didn't say that they grew from 2014. I would want for the minister to give us some examples. Then there will be a stronger case for a larger budget. The relevance of state-owned enterprises in advancing small business development needs further probing. It is no secret that SOAs have been deliberately designed as developmental nodes to deal with the socio-economic challenges of the Afrikaner community in terms of human capital and resource mobilization. Most members of NAFCOC are small businesses, yet there is no formally facilitated link between major contractors that do business with government and the large pool of NAFCOC members who have the potential to supply either services or goods to contractors. Honorable Minister, Why was the African Bank taken away from NAFCOC, leaving them exposed to commercial banks? We would love to get your response here too. As a country, this is what needs to be done. We need to take a strategic decision about this sector. We acknowledge that expediency, similar to countries such as Indonesia, China, India, are examples to be followed. Countries that have managed to turn around their economies are countries that have paid focused attention to the development of small businesses and develop an economy that is not reliant on foreign direct investment. Government must do more. It must fund the smaller businesses for their expansion. It must also extend more help in the form of non-financial support. We do support this budget, but we would like to get more from government for
Thank
it
you.
if this economy must be changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Sultana. Honourable Gaba.
Honorable Chair, Deputy Minister, members here, Batumo Gallaring, Batuba South Africa, Batuba Mofes Ledabi, Le Kalabo Chamelong Orketswateng. In creating the economic diversity through intervention and private-public partnership, the ANC vision for South African economy is guided by the Freedom Charter, clearly called that the people shall share in their country's wealth. The strategy and tactics adopted in 2017 of ANC says the South African economy to escape is the current low growth trend. There should be higher rates of investment by both public and private sectors. State-owned enterprises, including development finance institutions, should have requisite expertise and orientation towards common and appropriate government ethics. Private sector must invest in job-creating activities, expand access to financial services. The ANC believes that within the context of radical socio-economic transformation, the ANC's strategic relationship with the private capital is one of the cooperation and contestation. This requires, among others, that the state must actively seek partnership with private sector and provide leadership to guide the country towards its developmental goals. The medium-term strategic framework of cabinet decided in 2013 that in 2014 and 2019, the MTSF should form first 5-year implementation phase of National Democratic Plan and mandate work to begin on aligning the plans of state organs within the NDP vision and goals. Thus, for the next 5 years, the MTSF has made some priorities aimed at achieving radical economic transformation through decent employment and inclusive growth. The department has since been assigned to champion some of the priorities, namely Outcome 4, which is decent unemployment through inclusive growth, and Outcome 7 of rural development. In his State of the Nation address, the President Cyril Ramaphosa impressed on a number of fundamental policy to invigorate small business sector. According to Bureau of Economic Research, out of 26 promises made in SONA 2018, the new administration has so delivered on 19 points. Some undertakings in as far as small business sector concerned, including but not limited to. He stressed that the radical economic transformation e hloka hore re fetole maemo a bomme a setjhaba sa rona moruong. Re etse bonnete ba hore e ba borakgwebo, di-managers, di-producers, bahlahisi le di-financials. He reiterated that SONA assurances that the government will honor its undertaking to set aside the 30% of public sector procurement. This will open job opportunities for youth, and it will end up unemployment and reduce crime, which the ANC is fighting for. The government will continue to invest in small business incubation, encourage big business to do the same. President Ramaphosa, he applauded the establishment through the CEO initiatives of Small Business Fund, which currently stands at many billions, in outstanding examples of the role that the private sector can play. The success stories need to be told. Lefapha le hlabolla setjhaba hore se ske sa phela ka di-grants ho tswa mmusong. Bophelo bo a fetoha ka lefapha lena ba batho ba rona ba bangata. Ho bohlokwa hoba batho ba kgolo ho lefapha lena go le tla fetola maphelo a bona. The South African government engaged with the European Union to discuss the prospects of addressing nascent small business sector. The minister had already spoken that we are very proud of the 5-year agreement that they give us. Empa re ka setse seo e le hore ha re fetole molao kapa ha re shebe tabeng ya molao. Ho molao wa National Small Business Development Act re tla kwala dikgeo re kenye diphehiso ho tshehetsa small business sector. Ho strategy, integrated strategy of the promotion of entrepreneurship and small enterprises. Tlhatlhobiso ya leano lena, Department of Minerals and Energy e qetile ka March ka lona ho e sheba. Department hona tje, the department can commence the review of the integrated strategy on promotion of entrepreneurship and small enterprises. We must be relevant. The ANC government cares, it's a listening government, it is partnering, it is fixing problems, it does things for better. This we propose, Minister, we do it working alongside with our local communities, we consult with them, we inform and we give them report and feedback on the processes. Home monitoring and reporting framework on the 30% set aside. 2017 Public Sector Supply Chain Review Report said the government has spent 700 billion on the procurement of goods and services as well as construction. If the 30% of that money were to be directed to SMME, it is now provided for 2017 Regulations Preferential Procurement Act. It will make significant contribution to the sustainability of the SMME cooperatives. Tse ding re tla di fumana ha ebe ntse re tswela pele hore phetho ya molao re tlo etsa jwang. On the transversal and bilateral agreements on the 4th of December, it is important to understand that the department had entered into 29 partnerships agreements to date. The institutions partnered with encompasses public, private, and international organizations. The department signed agreements with public and private entities in order to provide both financial and non-financial support to SMME cooperatives, and they consist mainly of market opportunities in the procurement value chain, funding, and capacity building. Composition is composed of the following. Who private, national, and government entities, there are 14. Public and local government entities, there are 2. In private entities, there are 8. International organizations, there are 5. Chair, we must also mention that the department had a shared economic infrastructure facility, NIBAS, which has 2 instruments, SIF, Informal Macro Enterprise Development Program, help informal and macro enterprise training with equipment support and buying infrastructure. This helps in sustaining to form participation in the, sustaining the businesses to form participation in the economy. This is done through partnership between national, provincial, and local private public partnership sector investment. NIBAS has allocation of 32 million in 2017-2018 and managed to process 27.8 million. An example could be at Umuzwabantu local municipality in KZN, up to 5 million, which resulted in 25 jobs. The ANC stance is that the creation of the PMFMA has guidelines to procurement policies, which are meant to cap the misuse offering tendencies and give guidelines to fair process. A people-centered development is panacea to inclusive economy, to address inequality and unemployment, without using government to promote black industrialists and business SMMEs, will never reach mature stage to produce required job. The Provincial Procurement Act is aiming at closing the gap to serve the competitive advantage to small-scale industries. Without strong public partnership, without strong private sector partnership, the department is likely to go no further. In line with the call made in 2017 State of the Nation address, the government to utilize strategic levers that are available to such legislations, regulations, licensing, budget and procurement, as well as broad block black economic empowerment charters to influence the behavior of the private sector and drive transformation. The department in particular, the market access unit, also in fulfillment of the BRR recommendation, facilitate the private sector to creation the wholesale charter during 2018-19. As for radical economic transformation, the journey may be long, effort is much required, greater struggles continues, the struggle continue, and the victory is certain. The ANC therefore supports the budget. We just want to question Honorable T.M. Lauzi that in the debate session, in the answer session that the president was here, he mentioned the importance of the existence of the department. So he must not turn economic EFF to be economic freedom failures. And it is important to understand that Honorable Filani, that you
Thank
must
you,
understand that
Honourable.
the department is here to stay and we support the budget. Thank you.
Honourable Gordy.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, comrades and honorable members. Comrade Minister, the APC congratulates you and the department for prudently managing the public funds appropriated to you as confirmed by the Auditor General. The department is strategic in the fight against unemployment and the transformation of the economy to reflect the African character of our country. Whereas as socialists, we want an expanded footprint of the state in the economy for development and job creation, we equally believe in the energy and creativity of the people who are always held back by bureaucracy and big business. Our economy is highly monopolistic and remains a reflection of the past. Thus, the building and consolidation of a dynamic small business sector will lay a solid foundation for the development of an economy from the African community. We, however, need to address fully and continuously, one, access to funding by the people, especially cooperatives, to start up funding beyond the correctness of policy. Two, the need for small businesses to access the markets. Small businesses are stifled by big business, and the state has a decisive role to play in market access. And thirdly, ensuring that small businesses are paid in time, no later than 30 days, especially by government. It is self-defeating to the department's mission if government departments are the ones who frustrate and liquidate small businesses. The challenge is spoken about always, but the problem persists. And Comrade Minister, your voice and follow-up on this needs to be upped. The people have boundless energy and creativity. With state support and guidance, they can lift themselves out of neocolonialism. On this Africa Month, we remember those who served, suffered, and sacrificed for the cause of Africa. The cadres and officers of the Azanian People's Liberation Army, like General Gerald Kondlo, who fell in Villaperi, Mozambique in 1969, the indomitable Commissar Carl Zimbiri, who fell in KZN, and our beloved and intrepid Chief Commander Sabelo Victor Palmer, who passed away 2 months before the 1994 elections. Those who fell in the Ho Chi Minh trial, Operation Homecoming, Operation Shock and Show, the year of the Great Storm, etc. Your supreme sacrifices were not in vain. Thank you.
Honourable Kruger.
Thank you. House Chair, this speech is dedicated to the tannies and informal traders trading next to the roads in South Africa in an effort to feed their loved ones. To put small business development in South Africa in perspective, this ANC government spent more than 15 billion rand over the medium term on small business development across all departments. The Department of Trade and Industry latest statistics put the failure rate of small business as high as 80%. With 9.5 million unemployed South Africans, small business should drive job creation, but they are not. It's evident from this that the strategy of the ANC is not working, and that job creation through small businesses is a blueprint for disaster. What South Africa business community needs is a new strategy, a strategy that will defend the right to trade, a strategy that speaks to business success and that success is built on pillars of the right to development and the right to aid. Close to 10 million of our people in South Africa is looking for a decent job. U sien, geagte Suid-Afrikaners, die minister ly aan 'n gedagtevirus wanneer dit by kleinsakeontwikkeling kom. As sy maar net haar aggressiewe energie wat sy in die huis tentoonstel aanwend om haar departement reg te ruk, sal dit ook stukke beter gaan. Die verslag van die komitee beamoen my punt. Nie minder nie as 18 van die waarnemings van die komitee is negatief. 'n Duidelike bewys dat die minister en die direkteur-generaal nie bevoeg is om hierdie belangrike strategie en werkskeping deur middel van kleinsake te lei nie. My kollega het reeds hierna verwys. Trade is not fair in South Africa. The government does not protect small business against the bully tactics of big business. Mobile diesel power systems situation with Vodacom is a well-known example. Vodacom gave in October last year their word to solve the problem with this contractor to Parliament. But to date, absolutely nothing was done by Vodacom to prevent this company from closing down with job losses as a consequence. Mobile diesel power systems spent a fortune on all the demands of Vodacom to be a service provider. Vodacom terminated the small business service contract prematurely and without good reason. This is emblematic of many large companies. They drag the process as long as possible, knowing well that the small business will eventually suffocate and the problem will disappear. This government that stands for radical economic transformation is not capable of protecting the right to trade for all South Africans. Think of a South Africa where all entrepreneurs can trade without barriers by government. Obstacles that include spatial development by municipalities, red tape, service delivery, labor laws, and property rights, just to name a few. Then you will think about a caring government, a government that is free, fair, and full of opportunities and diversity. This government is called the DA government. To this end, I introduced a bill last year to reduce red tape in government, which should be considered again, as red tape kills many small businesses together with jobs. If you study the report of the Committee on Small Business Development, there is no doubt that the Minister and the Department are failing to address the rights to aid to entrepreneurs and owners of small business. The massive unbalanced aid environment between informal traders sitting next to the road to sell their goods and formal business is an oversight of the policymakers in the governing party. Hence, the failure to address unemployment. It brings me to the important part of the right of business community where the ANC shortchanged South Africans, and that is the right to development. Government understand that we are a development country, but their actions do not reflect their understanding. Dit is absoluut 'n skande dat hierdie huidige regering ons entrepreneurs van die toekoms kan of wil ontwikkel nie. Suid-Afrikaners is 'n trotse nasie wat beheer wil vat oor hul toekoms. Ongelukkig faal die regering om die honger na ontwikkeling te stil. Ons gemeenskappe in die landelike gebiede suig al vir jare aan die agterste speen en dit het tyd geword vir verandering, 'n verandering in die regering. In 2019, the DA will take over this government. And we will make sure that we are the champions of the right to trade for all. Thank you.
Honourable Mabasa.
Mutshami wa xitulu, Minister Zulu
na xandla xa ministera Mathale, na ti-ministera leti nga kona hinkwato lawani na ti-deputy ministers, chairpersons, members of the ANC and members of the community in the gallery and the members of the department, Namishaweta. This is the year of Nelson Mandela and Mama Albertina Sisulu and an economic stimulation and entrepreneurial development to contribute towards sustainable growth and radical socio-economic transformation. As I make this speech, I remember comrades who died to bring us where we are. Some of those are Comrade Sam Tambani, who was a leader of Soweto ANC. He died the same day when Chris Hani was killed. Comrade Papi Banda, who was a leader of Potwa, he was killed by the police. They placed bombs in his hands and claimed he could not use a bomb. Comrade Sol Tsotetsi, who was in the interim leadership of South African Communist Party. The ANC, let me start by quoting the president. In his SONA speech this year, President Ramaphosa said, "We will improve our capacity to support black professionals, deal decisively with companies that resist transformation, use competition policy to open markets up to new black entrants, and invest in the development of businesses in townships and rural areas." But we must note that EDD, under Competition Commission, is busy with these big companies that are elbowing out small businesses. So it is important that when people debate on the podium, they must also be specific and tell the truth. The president said that the growth of our economy will be sustained by small businesses, as is the case in many countries. It is our shared responsibility to grow this vital sector of the economy. Government will honor its undertaking to set aside at least 30% of public procurement to SMMEs, cooperatives, and townships and rural enterprises. We will continue to invest in small business incubation. We encourage private sector to do the same. The ANC strategy and tactics document of 2007 eloquently states that in order to achieve a developmental and capable state, to promote socio-economic agenda, we need a state that has the ability to translate broad objectives into programs and projects and to ensure their implication. And that is what the government is doing. It implements. The same sentiment has found expression in the 53rd Mangaung Conference, where the conference reaffirms the strategic role of SMMEs and cooperatives in the developmental agenda, inclusive economy, and subsequently mineral beneficiation. The National Democratic Plan further endeavors to reduce unemployment to 6% through the creation of 11 million jobs, with 90% or 9.9 million of these new jobs that must come by 2030, and most of them shall come from SMEs and cooperatives. The establishment of Department of Small Business in 2014 signified the underpinning objective of the ANC-led government for the realization of massive job creation and economic diversity. As the ANC celebrates the centenary of our stalwart Nelson Mandela and Mama Albertina Sisulu, lest we forget about their legacies
and contributions in the development of new South Africa. Indeed, each generation has a duty, to quote, each generation has a duty to discover its mission, fulfill or betray it in relative opacity. These are the words from Frantz Fanon. Ntate Nelson Mandela had this to say in 1999 in Davos, I quote, "The challenge we face combine many of the great challenges that we face, that face our global society. We need social stability that is based on socio-economic development. In other words, being in parliament is not enough. We must nurture tolerance, collective wisdom, and democracy. Like our countries, we must provide real personal safety and security against criminality and abuse of human rights." At the heart of the ANC-led government policy is the service to the poor, which are mainly the rural black women, the youth, who occupy the lowest strata on the economic activities. It is worth mentioning that the department could not achieve much on its own. Is that the time left? Oh, yes. No, then let me quickly...
Continue.
Let me quickly say why the SMMEs and cooperatives are lagging behind. Economy development was hindered by, amongst others, the laws of apartheid government. That's why we are lagging behind. Lest you've forgotten, it is your apartheid government that brought us where we are. Black people were prohibited by law from entrepreneurship in areas like the city of Johannesburg, like the city of Polokwane. Black people were not allowed to sell in such cities. Apartheid laws were not shy of demarcating areas. If you go to a park, you could see a bench where a black woman will be seated carrying a white baby, and there will be a sign that says, "Only nannies allowed." And there will be a toilet at Park Station which will be demarcated whites only. And this park, if we talk of parks like Joubert Park in Johannesburg, there was a sign that was written for whites only. And a beach in Cape Town, it will be demarcated that one part is for those that are not white and the other part is for blankets only. Blacks had to be in town only if they could show that the pass allowed them to be there in town, so that to show that they were employed. The pass had to be stamped every month by the boss, the employer. Even scholars had to have documents that showed that they are scholars. To be hawkers, even in the township, was a tall order. My mother used to sell vegetables and fruits, and the kwela will come and arrest her and say, "Where is the permit?" She will be taken to the municipal offices to pay fines. The goods will be confiscated and not given back to the hawkers. Hawkers whose goods had been taken will be assembled at one point at the municipal office and pay fines.
Please conclude.
I want to conclude by saying, as you blame the ANC, you must realize that the ANC idonsa kanzima ngoba iqala kule nyaka eyayenzwa abomkhulu wenu.
Thank you.
That's why ijogo esilithwele linzima siyofika nini le, but sizafika. It is just that you must note you gave us a premature load as black people.
Honourable Minister of Small Business Development.
Point of order, Chairperson.
Yes, what is your point of order?
I didn't want to disrupt the speaker, but you will know that the members in the gallery are not allowed to participate. Some of them are even taking photos there.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry, I did not see that myself. Can we continue? Honourable Minister of Small Business Development.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I would like to thank all the members who have contributed to the debate and thank those ones who have also supported the debate. But I also like to thank those who have constructive criticism and say to all the issues that you raised that are constructive, we will gladly listen to because we are committed to this radical economic transformation. I'd like to also say that the energy that you see here when I'm in the house is the energy that you'll find everywhere I go. So that energy will never go anywhere. And also I'd like to say to you—
Just a minute, Honourable Minister. Members in the gallery, you are invited to listen and observe. Please don't directly participate by clapping. Thank you.
Also, I would like to respond to Honorable Filtane and Honorable Godi, and thank you very much for that, to say to you, we hold the view that 30% is not the ceiling. Instead, it's a minimum value contracts which could be awarded to SMMEs and cooperatives. I would also like to say that in the coming year, we will deepen our analysis to understand exactly who the SMMEs are that are benefiting from the 30% set-aside policy, the relationship between where these SMMEs are based and in which provinces and municipalities and which contracts are they awarded. But we also want to get the figures because if there is talk of about 750 billion, how much of that goes to small and medium enterprises? This is what we will be doing. Honorable Chance, I hear you, and I do not necessarily agree with you with what you are saying that there is tardiness. One of the things that I've always said in the portfolio committee is that 4 years of building a new department and a new environment is not that easy. We listen to you most of the time because when it's constructive criticism, you yourselves know very well that I do listen. Honorable Mulaudzi, I want, the process is very long because there's one thing that you're forgetting. What Honorable Mabaso was saying here is the fact of why we are here. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for the fact that my grandparents and my great-grandparents were not put in the same space as he was, probably they would be in the same space. Talk to SIFA. Talk to the people that are our business advisors. They have to spend more time dealing with one person who comes into the office who is black in particular. They have to teach them ABC of business. None of you need to be taught ABC of business because you went to good schools, because your families were given an opportunity way before. Had you not blocked us as black people, there wouldn't be a Minister of Small Business Development. By the way, all small and medium enterprises would be taking advantage of all opportunities. We have to teach our people even the opportunities. Where are these opportunities? I also don't get much of your own, by the way, coming to our offices. And I have said personally, I don't know whether they're not coming in because somebody has told them we won't serve them. We don't look at color when we are serving the department, but we are not ashamed of saying we will focus on black people because of addressing the imbalances of the past. I think one of the reasons many of yours don't come through is because they don't need our assistance. They are fine. As for Honorable Mulaudzi, I thank you very much for the positive side of what you said, but I don't agree with you when you say that this department is almost like useless. Tell that to Jabulani Ngobo, who is sitting in the gallery right now, who wrote a book called Cash Flow Naked. Read that book. He never came to government to ask for assistance. He's a hustler. He hustled through and he made it. And let me tell you, he's giving back to his community because he goes out and tells them how he got to where he is. Tell Ma'am Violet Palamabaso, who is sitting in the gallery right now, who started from zero without any government support, tell her that we are useless. Tell that to Lucky Mimi Trading Projects. Tell that to our national gazelles, some of whom are sitting here. Gridbo is sitting here. Fred Footwear is sitting here. Tell that to all our gazelles who, if you go into my speech, you will see the growth of those gazelles because we have been able to assist them. Tell them to the government departments who actually, as the ministers who sit here, most of the ministers who spoke here, they referred to Department of Small Business Development because as government of the African National Congress, we are concerned about SMMEs and we knock onto the departments to say to them, you have to assist us, and they are making presentation of their plans for supporting small and medium enterprises. Tell that to the people who are looking forward to the YES program, which was recently launched by the department, because what we want to see out of the YES program is the exit strategy. We don't want these companies who are telling us that, no, we're going to give them experience, and then after they finish the experience, they've got nothing to do. We, as a Department of Small Business Development, are engaged them to say, let's look at the exit, because part of the exit should be them exiting to starting their own businesses rather than just going around and looking for jobs. Tell that to those beneficiaries of our entrepreneurship programs. For instance, you can talk to about our program, which is not necessarily our program alone. Go to 22 on Sloan and see the young people benefiting from our participation in the Global Entrepreneurship Network. Thanking Kizito, for instance, who is sitting here, of Sustainable Entrepreneurs Accelerator for Africa. These are the people, honorable members, who are not saying government must do this all the time. Government must do this for us all the time. Our task is that of creation of a conducive environment for our people, and that's exactly what we are doing. I would like, Chairperson, at the end, to thank the department, everybody that has pulled up their socks and made sure that we improve. I am not saying that we've been perfect from the very beginning. We've slugged it out in the portfolio committee. We've explained ourselves in the portfolio committee. I know that we have reached some. I know that we haven't reached many. For those who were not reached, we have not reached, we want to say to you, let me again. So when somebody says to you, this government of the African National Congress is useless, take you back to just 1994. Prior to 1994, and many of you don't want us to talk about that. We will talk about that, because if my grandfather had not almost died in Denver hostel with nothing except for the labor of at least educating me, I wouldn't, let me tell you, I actually wouldn't even be standing here had it not been for apartheid, because I wouldn't have spent my youth running in Angola, in Mozambique, and all those countries trying to get rid of an apartheid regime. Probably I would be representing South Africa many years ago in the United Nations. I'm here because I never had the opportunity to do that. So you have to listen, because the other thing that you miss, you don't understand what we are made of. You see the energy that you're talking about here, you miss the point that I have this energy. I have the things that I say when I'm sitting there, because you are failing to understand your role that put us where we are today. You must accept the role and why we are here. South Africa wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for your so many years of oppressing us. If you are much better than us because you were not oppressed. So, by the way, the good thing about this African National Congress is that despite all that, we still have an ear to listen to you. The problem here is sometimes nidakwa umbuso. Nayi problem like maningayeka nje ukudakwa umbuso sawusebenzisana kahle sisonke, because this South Africa belongs to all who live in it, including yourselves. Let's work together. Chairperson, I'd like to thank really the Portfolio Committee, thank Deputy Minister, thank the leadership of the DG. I know you've gone through very difficult times. Thank you, because this probably would be your last, as your term will be coming to an end soon. But lastly, I'd like to thank my family for the support that they have given me, the patience, and forgiving me for missing many significant family events. Thank my husband for the tolerance of me walking out slowly in the house because I'm rushing to catch a train. I thank all my family members, whether they are in Mpumalanga, whether they're in KZN, or they are in Bloemfontein, wherever they are. They make what you see here. That is me. And this work that we have done so far, it will continue even in the next administration, because this African National Congress is here to stay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Honourable Minister. Members, that concludes the debate and the business of this mini plenary session. The mini plenary may now rise. Thank you.